Hi everyone, Scrappy Kathy here with my Freeze Friday video, and I will tell you that this week I have spent nothing. I'm really kind of back on the freeze because I have a couple kits coming, and I haven't been scrapping as much at all this year, but especially lately as I normally do. So I've kind of cut back on some subscriptions until I get caught up, and I'm enjoying discovering things that I already have. One of my Fun Friday finds is this kind of cream colored cardstock. I honestly did not know that I owned any of it, and the 8x8 die cuts with a view DCWV pads that had these solids that are textured on both sides but differently on each side, so they give a little bit different look. And they're white core, so that when you a lot of cardstocks are solid all the way through. This has a white core, and it's in several layers, so it's nice and thick and sturdy. But when you rough it up, you can see that white core, and it's a high rag content, so it gets really raggedy and fringy, and I love that. So this is one that I did for a Scrap Squad Sunday lift, and this was the original by Anka Kramer, and this was Rebecca Meadows' version of it, and they're both gorgeous, and I love the pastel color palette that they both used. But of course I went a different route. I had decided that I wanted to use these florals from the Wonders collection, and there are a couple things from Go the Scenic Route that I put in there. And I took a different color of this cardstock, and I die cut some little leaf sprigs out of it. And all of this, well, this is a Vicki Boutin title card that I used, and it was just perfect because we were in downtown Alpharetta, which is not a big city, and it doesn't have skyscrapers. You can see the highest skyscrapers back behind us. I think that's City Hall with a clock and so forth. Anyway, we were out for a Sunday brunch and these days, most of the streets are deserted and everyone's got masks on. So I thought it was an appropriate photo. That's me and my granddaughter, Katie. Okay, this one is a lift done for Challenge Accepted, and this was the sketch that was chosen by Shannon's son-in-law, or future son-in-law, Nick. And it's a sketch that I had already done in 30 Days of Sketches with Christie's Beautiful Life. In fact, I may go add it to that album just as a contrast to the one that I did. The previous one I did, you may recall, had a black background, and I took, for this kind of fanned out part right here, I took a stencil and used a white pen through it. But here I used Color Study by Vicki Boutin, and everything about my husband's birthday, which was this past Tuesday, the 20th, I'm going to be doing in Color Study. So this was a walk I took that day, going out to see the ducks that we always saw on our neighborhood walks. And this duck actually let me get up close enough to get this close-up photo. So I documented that in my little clipboard there. And there is a video on this for Challenge Accepted, if you'd care to see that. And there's this one is also available on video for titled Scrap Squad Sunday, Fun Times in the City. And this one is Good Vibes Only. This one is called Party, and it was done for 3 different challenges. I did it for a hop that was honoring and celebrating like Rebecca Moore's 500 Subbies, and she's also known as Precious Paige's Papercraft on Instagram, where you can see amazing work. And as much as her work, I really love the way she stages her photos of her pages. So that's nice. I also did it for a symmetry challenge in the Craft Plus community challenges, and a recipe from Spoonful of Scraps for 5 stars or circles, stamps, ink, 2 different inks, and a square photo. So I've kind of done my symmetry along a diagonal, and I've included some flair from Dottie about flair. I'm wondering, I just got stuck and I was wondering if there was some adhesive that had gotten off on there. And then this is a little star from Bramble Fox. These are my stamps and 2 different inks. And this was a fun one to do. These were my husband's 2 favorite restaurants. This is Mellow Mushroom Pizza, and this is Papacito's Cantina. And I think I've told the story on the video when I made this, but Papacito's is a Houston. They started in Houston. It actually started as a little fast food stand that served the most incredible shrimp po' boys. And then they branched out to, I think there are Papa Do's, the Cajun seafood version of the restaurant in many states. But I think the one here in Georgia, in Marietta, is the only Papacito's that's outside the state of Texas. So John always said he would never move from Texas because he wasn't going to leave Papacito's. And we found the only, turns out that James settled in the only state that, the only other state that has Papacito's. So we were able to move. That actually is what permitted us to move. So I like this, again, using the color study collection, very different look to these 2 pages, primarily because of the craft background. And here I'm using my, and those are from there's a video on that one too. It's called Party, and you'll see it with the, it's the Rebecca's 500 Subbies thumbnail. And it's all gorgeous purples and magentas. This one is for Mixed Media Frenzy, and we were lifting this incredible page by Missy Whidden, and I went kind of monochromatic, cool colors here, used Distress Oxides, and then sprinkled some, and you can see it kind of down in here and up in here, sprinkled some Ken Oliver Color Burst. And this is one of my favorite photos of all time, of John sitting with Barrett on the main floor deck. Barrett's dressed in his baseball uniform, so it's probably after a game, probably after we came back. His game was in the park, where there's also a farmer's market, and we always made a day of it when he had a game. And we walked home, and it was probably, baseball season was probably hot, so I have no idea. I didn't know this photo existed, but I love that it's taken through the blinds and taken kind of at that angle. And I didn't realize it when I was putting the page together. I kind of covered up the black part, which was the room inside the blinds, the inside of the house. And I kind of disguised that so that you'd see this, but it ends up kind of looking like the photo was cut, and it was Rebecca Moore who pointed this out to me. It looks like the photo was cut at the same angle as the photo was taken, but it's actually a true 4.5 by 5 photo. So, and I cut the perfect little strip from the strips paper, the borders paper, in color study. The rest of this is from Cocoa Vanilla, including the ombre paper that these Tim Holtz skeleton leaves were die cut from. So those are my 4 layouts. I'm up from my total of 3 per week that I've had the last several weeks. This coming week, I hope to have more. I have 3 to do today alone, but one of those won't go live until May 1st. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week. I'm happily finding things that I've already paid for and that I loved enough to buy. But at the same time, I'm actually enjoying a kind of a purge that I'm doing. I'm taking sticker sheets that have 1 or 2 stickers on them that have sentiments or colors or something about them that has kept me from using them all these years, and I'm just kind of shutting my eyes and tossing them. And I will do the same thing with scraps of patterned paper. I have way too many scraps, and I tend to like using scraps, but lately I've been kind of keeping the scraps with the collection of whole papers, and they only go into the scrap pile when I don't have enough of the whole papers to justify that. So I'm kind of doing this just a little bit at a time, and I take a pile of stuff to work on in a trash bag and a recycle bag, and I sit down and do this while I'm watching television. So it's just kind of not a well thought through process. I'm just kind of tackling things and keeping busy. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week, hopefully with at least 1 more than 4. So if I increase each week, kind of like exercise, I'm increasing my number of steps each week. We'll see how far that gets me. So thanks for watching. Bye.